Welcome to the Research Conversations with the Faculty of Management Sciences. Scholars committed to making impactful societal change through research.
Greetings viewers, my name is Mdunge Skhumbuzo and welcome to another episode of Research Conversation with FMS. Today I'll be joined by Dr. Leanett Ntuli to unpack his PhD titled Leadership Capabilities for Improving Financial Management Inefficiencies in the Public Sector. Dr. Ntuli, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thanks for asking.
I'm also good, and let's dive into it. So, public financial management has crushed our economy into tatters, and this has affected the basic service delivery such as road, water, and electricity. And there seems to be a palpable energy around the issue of corruption, which leads to my first question to say, what motivated you to conduct this research?
Okay, what motivated me to conduct the research? First of all, as an academic, there was some interest from me, and also the field where I'm attached to, which is public management, where there are also important field in terms of the syllabus, the curriculum development, and we look at the complexities that we overcome in the community. There are a lot, one of which is not doing well in terms of managing our finances or our public financial management in the country. As we know that finances plays a pivotal role in ensuring that service delivery are rendered in an effective and efficient manner. Therefore, that component of financial management is critical to ensure that we do not falter, as we may have seen in Auditor's General's report, where he have stipulated some of the challenges that were identified in terms of municipalities not doing well in rendering their services. So one of which that have motivated me is that I'm part of the field, and this study is also, the experience that I also, come across with as a lecturer, and this is part of my work that I do, to keep up with the current affairs, as well as identifying what are some of the opportunities that we can use to stave off the current debacles.
Okay, so what was the main aim and objective of the study?
Well, my main aim was to develop a systems approach to deal with leadership capabilities. That was my main aim. Appreciate systems thinking, and I must say that I have to compliment the supervisors and the cohort, the ones that they have introduced the leadership dialogue, where the focus was on systems approach, and that is where you identify the complexities that lies in our societies.
Okay, so now moving into literature review, you have talked about different role players that are involved in the public financial management. So can you please maybe unpack that for us? Who are these people that are involved in the public financial management?
Thank you very much for the question. First of all, let me delve on the methodology that I have employed in my study, one of which is the systems action research approach, where I have applied a multi-method approach, whereby I implemented the source systems method, the systems dynamics, the system critical heuristic. So in my literature, one of which where I have identified my role players in the use of soft system methods, whereby I have illustrated by means of drawing a rich picture, which is presented in my chapter 2 of my dissertation, where I have identified the various role players, what is their responsibility, what is identified, or rather what is their also need to achieve in terms of the outcomes in the value chain management. One of which are the students, myself as a researcher, the DGs, Deputy Directors in COGTA, and also the communities. So I have also interacted with specialists in terms of systems thinking to ensure that my study is in par with the complexities that are embedded in my literature. And I also make emphasis on the different types and styles of leadership, because I wanted to ascertain or to determine which is the suitable or best leadership trait or style that can be implemented by our municipality to render the services.
Okay. Maybe while we are still on that, in a layman's term, because this seems like these are big words.
Yes.
So can you please unpack for us what is system thinking that you are talking about, which should be applied in our public financial management?
Yeah.
And also the follow-up question will be, what system archetype that we think we should use to specifically address the issue of corruption?
Thank you very much. Well, systems thinking, it deals with exploring complex issues, you know, in variety of sectors. And also, if I can explain it in layman terms, as you have asked me to do so, is that as human, we are part of the system which is public management, rather public administration, and yet we are involved directly or indirectly as communities, because we require services such as water, electricity, provision of houses, and so on and so forth. Thereafter, we must not view public finance in isolation, but it is part of the whole, you know. It's in terms of the complexities that are out there. So the public management on its own, it have components like supply chain, human resources, disaster management, local government, one of which is public financial management, which is a bedrock of government in terms of rendering the services. So yeah, one of the archetypes that I have utilized or employed in my study is one of which that is called the tragedy of the commons. So the tragedy of the commons is whereby a society has got interest, you know, in the commons, yet you find that only individuals or a few are benefiting in the resources. I've mentioned issues of water, the scarcity of water, you know, the infrastructure, you know, all of those issues that are embedded in that. So therefore, it requires a quite a comprehensive approach that will enable or to see to it that the leaders that are there are implementing what they are supposed to do in terms of the leadership capabilities that they possess.
Okay. While we are still on this point of leadership, also again in your literary review, you talk about different type of leaders, which are transition and transactional
Correct.
leadership.
Yes.
So can you please maybe briefly unpack what is that?
Okay.
And also when go further to say, what type of leaders do we have in our public sector, and what type of leaders do we need in order to improve our public sector services?
Thank you so much. Well, let me start by saying that there are plethora of leadership styles and traits that are out there. One of which that I emphasize in my study is the one that is adaptive leadership, which is inter alia related to transactional leadership and transformational as well. Whereby, let me briefly touch on VUCA principles. VUCA principle stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, whereby as leaders in the society, we need to be rather make sure that we are prepared in situations that we are uncertain, whereby other things could be volatile, in the execution. And remember that during COVID, we were uncertain as to what we can do in addressing issues underlying the effects and the danger or the damage that COVID has done into our society. So even with the adaptive leadership, I implemented, or I suggested or supported adaptive leadership, so as members or public officials have to adapt to situations, unforeseen, prepared or unprepared, so that we are not found unwanting, and also we leave things unattended. So yeah, I have advocated for adaptive leadership in one of the styles that I used in my dissertation.
Okay, maybe one last more question. After conducting your research, what findings and recommendations have you came up with?
Well, thank you very much for that question. Well, let me start by saying that I have used models, to solve the current problems that are related to my study. One of which, the major approach that I've used is systems thinking, as I've alluded earlier. The approaches that were the approach that was dominant in my study was systems dynamics, whereby I make illustrations of drawing diagrams and also showing interconnectedness, the relationship with regards to the achieving the objective of my research, one of which is to create or develop new knowledge by means of aligning or embedding the diagrams, because the diagrams, I foresee them as models that can be used, to explain situations or to deal with opportunities, and also take a means of the challenges that are out there to address all of these social ills that are faced by our communities. So now, as I've said, that I've used a soft systems method, whereby I have drawn a rich picture to show the value chain as well as the different or various stakeholders that are involved in my study. And I've drawn the rich picture by means of, using my own hand, and I have engaged the stakeholders and explained the purpose of the rich picture. So that is another methodology that I've used to identify the stakeholders as well as their roles. And I went on to use systems dynamics to draw the diagrams by means of, I've used the software called VenSim. In the VenSim, where I have joined the organization which is called the Systems Dynamics Society, which is a society that I have affiliated with, so where they demonstrate on how the systems dynamics can be a solution to problems that are faced by our community. And in order for me to gather the data, I've used what is known as the system critical heuristics. So the system critical heuristics is used to emphasize on the critical boundaries as to addresses those that are having voiceless, that cannot air their opinion. So the system critical heuristics plays that critical role because I have embedded or aligned or my questions based on my literature as well as the objective of the study, using the critical system heuristic which was developed by Aldrich.
Okay, maybe in 30 seconds,
yeah.
How would you like your study to contribute to the body of knowledge?
Thank you very much for that. First of all, I'd like my study to contribute in the curriculum development and to also assist the practitioners, assist the public officials in the public sector, assist the students that are look forward to be absorbed in the public space, as well as ensuring that our policies are in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, as well as the Africa Agenda 2063. So if we stick to that, we'll never go wrong as a country, and also emphasize the issue of adaptive leadership as a means or a way forward to resolve or solve the current predicaments that we face with as a society.
Well, Dr. Ntuli, thank you very much for your time. Today you've given such a rich content to us.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Well, viewers at home, thank you very much for watching, and this is Research Conversation with FMS. Let's meet again next time in the next episode. Thank you.
Episode was brought to you by the Faculty of Management Sciences.